Hey everybody, John Ramdeen alongside my pal Robin Black here with you in our downtown studios. Two of my favorite fighters ever in the history of mixed martial arts, brothers Nick and Nathan Diaz. They seem to be enjoying life right now. They've said it for years and years and years. Fighting hurts. It sucks. We get beaten up. And now they're at a stage, it seems, especially after the UFC was purchased, and they seem to be lacking stars. Ronda Rousey, when's she coming back? Conor McGregor, when's he coming back? I don't think George is coming back. They have some power right now. The UFC has offered Nick apparently a couple of fights that he's turned down. Damian Maia, I think, and Robbie Lawler, those two fights in the UFC, offering Nathan Diaz, Eddie Alvarez. They're like, I don't want those fights. We want big fights. But what does that mean? Our producer Bobby T is upset because Damian Maia and Robbie Lawler, they seem to be big fights. Those are big fights. Everybody, I want to see Damian Maia versus Nick Diaz, seeing these guys roll around on the ground. Damian Maia get punched in the face, shooting a takedown. It's just going to look so awesome. And if Robbie and Nick decided to slug it out, oh my God. However, let's just, same with Nathan Diaz. Nathan Diaz and Eddie Alvarez.
Seriously, like, I know you don't owe us anything, man. You've given us plenty. But could you fight Eddie, man? Like, I mean, think about that. Nate Diaz and Eddie Alvarez, you could just do it for us.
But let me ask you this. What do you think Nathan Diaz was paid for the last Conor McGregor fight?
Like $5-6 million.
$5 or $6 million. Let's just say it's $6 million. I'm sure Nate Diaz would say, no, he wouldn't even say, because give me $6 million to fight Eddie Alvarez, and I'd fight Eddie Alvarez. But he believes I'm the star. I want pay-per-view points. Eddie Alvarez isn't going to make me a lot of points on the pay-per-view or a lot of extra money.
I gotta disagree.
Yeah?
I gotta disagree.
Really?
Eddie Alvarez is one of the 5 most interesting, accomplished, and these guys still do love the martial arts and they love competition. And on some level, Nate is in there like, look, man, I'll fight Eddie in the backyard. But then people have also, and his brother and his family, it's like, dude, look, you're in a position to make a lot of money.
Conor.
But so what this all boils down to ultimately is the fact that these guys don't need this. They don't need it. And when you are in a position that you really, truly don't need something, and the other party needs you, if they do, they will keep trying to sweeten it until you finally go, what, $8 million in 10 weeks against Eddie? If I was, yeah, okay, that sounds good. So it's a game, and they've earned the right to play it, and it can be frustrating. I'm sure it's frustrating for Dana. I'm sure it's frustrating for the UFC. It's frustrating for us as fans who are dying to see them fight. But for them, they're like, hey, we've earned what we did. We put our bodies on the line. We've been fighting for so many years against all the best guys. If the money is right, we have a number in our head. And if that number is right, we'll be showing up and we'll be excited to fight. And if it isn't, we'll be hanging out. I think they're selling rolling papers and all kinds of cool stuff.
The problem is, why do fight fans love Nick and Nate Diaz? Yes, they drop F-bombs, they're authentic, they're controversial, but the reason people love the Diaz brothers is because they scrap better than anybody else out there, whether they win or lose. Rory McDonald picking Nathan up and smashing him on the ground, him choking out Conor, Conor lighting him up, Nick doing the things he's done throughout his mixed martial arts career. People love these guys because of the art they create inside of the cage. UFC, pay these guys what they're worth, and let's have them face all the best fighters at 170 or 155 pounds.
The truth of these things, it sucks in life to recognize what the actual, the challenge is, to the reality of something, and need to accept it. Because my reality is, could you guys please fight? I love watching you fight.
I know.
And the UFC's reality is, could you guys please fight? It'll be great. Everybody will love it. And their reality is, pay me. Or they're just taking a break. And it's fun to go play these. People have played games with them. The act of being an athlete is to be used in many ways by us and the game itself. And so they're like, hey, maybe we'll use the game. And just, if you're a fan of these guys, you support them and you're excited to see them fight. And if you're not a fan, great. You'll be out there creating debate and discussion and controversy around them. They're in control, and good for them, I guess.
We know time is ticking. These guys aren't new to mixed martial arts. And when you look at the new technology of MMA, do you think that figures into their decision? It's like, okay, how many fights do we actually have? We could fight for another 5 or 6 years, but why not take 3 big fights over the next number of years and then retire from the sport?
I'll be honest, if I'm Nate Diaz, as much as I shouldn't say this out loud, because I really want to see him fight Eddie. They're 2 of my favorite fighters ever. It'll be so good. But if I'm Nate Diaz, Fuck it all. One more fight with Conor, $10 million. I'll get ready for that. I'll focus every last ounce of energy I have in the world of combat on that thing, and I will ride out into the sunset no matter what. That's what I would do if I was Nate. And if I'm Nick, do I really want to fight Stephen Wonderboy Thompson? That guy's moving, jumping all over the place. Although Lawler sounds like the fight.
Bisping to me is the fight.
Cowboy. Cowboy fought his brother.
I mean,
This is up to them. That we often, as fans, are like, this guy needs to do this. He needs to. They don't need to do anything. They need to do what makes them happy, and we should be happy for them. It's the same thing. If people like Ronda's got to do what Ronda wants to do, and we should be happy for people like that. And we should all strive in our life to create the freedom for ourselves to do the things we want.
Clearly, the Diaz brothers, two of the most interesting figures to ever be a part of the great sport of mixed martial arts.